All right, guys, I'm just going to go through some of these meta players that you get in UFL. Now, look, I'm not going to focus on progression per se. These are just some good cards that you can get that are fairly cheap and that can get the job done. Similar to FC, the most important thing is if you look at the high divisions, it's L1 triangles, cutting inside, it's dribbling, and it's also taking those long shots. The first one we got over here is Bio. Look, good pace, good shot power, decent card as well. I'm not gonna focus too much on these, but some of them have good ones. But I just wanted to go over just a few of these. But it's another one over here. 70 shot power here. Actually a pretty decent card. And he has all those improved one-time shots, deadly inside the box. Duran is another good card as well. For striker, I'm just going to go through these. You can feel free to pause and have a look yourself. But this is actually another good card as well. Pretty decent, good shot power. I think shot power is kind of important. Goalkeepers kind of suck, to be honest. But I mainly predominantly focus on pace and shooting. That's another good card as well. For the striker, again, another one over here with Ohio. And he has the snap shooter. Excuse me, still a bit ill. Then you have Aliseda. Now, these are going to be some of the non-obvious ones as well. We've got Forbes left wing, pretty decent card. And then right wing, again, because pace is the most important thing, realistically speaking, in this game, in my opinion, because the better pace you have, it means the better recovery, especially if you struggle in games like FC25. You'll notice the most important thing is pace. Pace can equals recovery. And Dyer's a very good card. Another good one as well for a right wing. It's got one time as well, Babika. Good shot power. And of course, you can't be too picky at 10 million coins. Duranville is actually another pretty decent one. Again, has more of the pace. But he's for only 2.5 million. So if you can't afford the 10s, you want a good cheap option, you go with him. Another one as well is Traore. What a card. I actually really like him. Bit on this, it could be faster, don't get me wrong, but he's actually a pretty decent card with that shooting. But I'd always personally prefer pace. Then we have Aronson just for a cam. Cams, the way I look at cams is their job is to dribble and shoot. So I've kind of gone with that. They also play the L1 triangles, but I don't feel you need amazing passing. As long as your passing is decent, I think you can get away with it. Lindstorm is another card here, a bit pricey. But he's got the dribbler as well. Then we have Baba. Now Baba is actually a pretty decent card all around. Good pace, decent shot power, and decent long shots. So if you want someone that can shoot, this is a card for you. We got Manu as well, another decent card. Good pace, pretty decent all-rounded card. For CDM, we got Mapanzu. I think interceptions are kind of one of the most important, and defensive positioning, if you're asking me. Tackles and heading, who cares? As long as you're in the right place at the right time. Good sprint speed as well. There isn't really that many good options. Just to show you, just a quick one on the CDMs. If I go here to CDMs, I'll show you another one very quickly. But like, a card like this is obviously very pricey. We're just gonna, in fact, just to keep it a bit realistic, we'll try to go for someone who's like 5 million, because I'm sure you want someone that's cheap. 10 million can still be a bit pricey. But when you're looking for these cheaper cards, you really want to be concentrating on the pace. And for example, like here, you want to be really looking at, for example, interceptions and pace, because pace is the most important thing still. I wish you could arrange it by just CDM position, because you're put with all these players, which can be a bit annoying. But also one thing to look out for: interceptor. Anyone that has the interceptor, I think, is very good for CDMs as well. But in my opinion, it's all about positioning. Then we're gonna go over to centre backs. Just rearrange this. Now, centre backs is the obvious choices, and I'm gonna put in some other ones as well. So we'll start from left to right. We got this guy in, pretty decent card, Air King. Good pace and good defense positioning, good interceptions, good fitness as well. But the main thing here you're really looking at is that pace. This guy is actually very good for only 1.6 million. He's actually a pretty decent card if you want someone cheap. This is a guy that I liked quite a lot. The Abate, I looked at him, good sprint speed. As Air King as well. I don't think Air King is that important. You're really playing for interceptor. And I think if you're asking me, because of the first time L1 triangles, I'm going to be honest, it doesn't matter what players you have, as long as you have pace to recover and stop the danger in his tracks, you'll be good to go. A decent card. Godfrey, in my opinion, one of the better centre backs. What a card. More of the obvious choice. I'm sure everyone knows about Godfrey anyway, so I don't really need to go over him. But he's another very good card. I took in this card as well. Another very good one. Good defensive positioning. Good sprint speed. Campawala. Another decent card as well. And then you have some of these very cheap options, just like, 1.35 if you want to get the job done. McKenna is actually a pretty decent card as well. Good interceptions, good sprint speed. Mitchell, another very good card, good sprint speed. Yeah, he lacks interceptions, but you're really paying for pace here. And it'll be a decent card. And these 1.5 million, this is like if you really need some worst case scenario, you can get something like Charisma. And you can just pause these. For left backs, again, the most important thing is pace, because L1 triangles are going to be going towards the wing areas, and you're going to be able to defend. So pace is going to be very, very important again with the way the meta is going. Me as a Hawk, but it's a bit of a. I still think, if you're asking me personally speaking, the weighting on pace and positioning is still the most important thing. The better pace you have, the better it's going to be. Not a decent card as well. But you really want pace, like I said, Ogbeta. So these cards are very, very cheap, 1.5. But when you get to the 4 mil mark, you start going for pace. Another very good card as well. Another very, very good card. Like him. And Bellerin, very underrated card as well. Who cares about that? But we're going for the sprint speed there. Good defense positioning, actually. And then some other cards that you can have a look at. Now, for the goalkeepers, look, to be honest, I think all goalkeepers are a bit. They need to adjust how goalkeepers defend long shots and power shots. It's not necessarily people are thinking it's necessarily these long shots from distance are just a bit too overpowered, and you don't even need good shooting to score them. I've primarily focused, similar to FC, on good height and ideally good positioning. Positioning, high, and reflexes together, you can argue, are kind of on the most important. So I've got some good players here. You got one player that's a bit more heavy on positioning. You can see Gun, a bit more expensive. There isn't, if you go for a cheap goalkeeper, it's completely fine. If you go for the goalkeeper, you just want to get the job done. Don't be spending 100 million on a goalkeeper. If you spend like 10 million, you're fine. Concentrate on the spine of your team, like a good CDM. If you're playing CDMs, good centre backs, good strikers. But you can have a look, for example, and also, of course, we know, of course, diving is very, very important as well. Look, if you're asking me, I think height and positioning is kind of what I think is key. So anyone that's got good positioning, for example, someone like this guy, decent height, good positioning, I think are very, very good. But I guess that's just some meta players. Thanks for watching. Of course, catch you next time. Peace.